evening, I am Fayyaz Qureishi with the Legends edition on KBC Channel 1. Tonight on The Living Legends, we hear from two members of the iconic group Them Mushrooms, band leader John Katana Harrison and his brother Billy Saro Harrison. And our sign language interpreter for tonight's edition is Anne Wangeshi. First, a quick look at the highlights for tonight's bulletin.
It's a big thing for our country, and we have confirmations from presidents and heads of states across Africa.
20 African heads of state to attend the inauguration ceremony of President-elect William Ruto. Rising cases of suicide attributed to stigma associated with mental health. And Britain's new monarch, Prince Charles, is proclaimed as King Charles III. Welcome back. Starting off with our top story tonight. A total of 20 heads of states across Africa will be attending the inauguration ceremony of President-elect William Ruto on Tuesday. Principal Secretary for Interior Karanja Kibicho says invited leaders have confirmed attendance. Kibicho, who on Saturday led the Assumption of Office Committee in inspecting preparations at the Moi International Sports Centre Kasarani, says works at the venue will be complete by Sunday evening. A swearing-in simulation exercise, which is a replica of what will happen on Tuesday, was also conducted as the rehearsals officially ended today.
Moi International Sports Centre Kasarani continues to be a beehive of activity 2 days to the inauguration ceremony. Today marked the official end of the rehearsals that have been underway since Tuesday. Today's rehearsal by the military was characterized by a full simulation exercise, which is a replica of how the entire swearing-in ceremony will be conducted. From the Guard of Honor, which will be inspected by the head of state Uhuru Kenyatta, comprising of the military band, the Kenya Air Force, Kenya Army and even Kenya Navy, donned their ceremonial regalia, the same attires they will wear during the swearing-in ceremony. According to the Assumption of Office of President Committee, works are the grounds that will see the President-elect officially handed over the instruments of power are almost complete.
The Assumption of Office Committee, we are satisfied that the preparations in as far as the infrastructure is concerned is well on time.
PS Interior Karanja Kibicho says 2,500 invited guests will be hosted at the main dais, including heads of state who have already confirmed attendance.
And we have confirmations from presidents and heads of states across Africa. That's totaling to 20 in number.
The 60,000-seater capacity stadium will be open to the public. Space for another 20,000 Kenyans is available, where screens will be mounted in case of an overflow of people.
We expect Kenyans, the 60,000 of them, to start flowing in as early. We'll open this stadium at around 4 a.m. so that by 7 a.m. all are seated.
The program is scheduled to start at 10:30 a.m. The committee also says an operation order has been drawn to address traffic challenges. Preparations for the swearing-in ceremony enter the last stretch, 2 days to the historic day when Kenyans will witness and usher in the country's new administration, as well as celebrate the democratic process that eyes of the world will be watching. Kamche Menza for the Legends edition at the Moi International Sports Centre, Kasarani, Nairobi.
Stigma associated with suicidal tendencies has fueled the high rate of suicide cases in the country. 6 out of every 100,000 Kenyans commit suicide annually. And as Kenya marked the World Suicide Prevention Day, stakeholders are calling for consideration of suicide as a major public health issue and not a taboo, so as to enhance awareness on the condition and improve access to treatment.
A procession in the streets of Nairobi in commemoration of World Suicide Prevention Day marked every 10th of September. The day focuses on enhancing awareness on suicide with a call for proactive measures to manage it. The Kenya Red Cross, World Health Right and Cities Rise, among other organizations, came together to mark the day with the theme of this year being creating hope through action. Whereas the World Health Organization estimates that 700,000 people die by suicide annually, exact figures are hard to come by owing to the stigma associated with the condition. Charity Muturi, a 47-year-old suicide prevention activist, narrates her struggles with opening up on suicidal thoughts from a young age, fearing stigmatization.
I have also had suicidal ideation or thoughts and plans of suicide since I was 14. So now I do advocacy, I do policy in order to inform people and also to change the laws and policies in our country to be favorable for people with mental health challenges.
Stigmatization of suicide is seen as a contributor to the increasing cases of suicide.
When you talk about suicide, suicide is an intentional act that is taken by someone to end their life. Yes, and the mission and the objective of our work today is to raise awareness on suicide prevention, to tell people that there is help out here, and there are people who are willing to come out and help you if you feel emotionally and psychologically disturbed.
Stigma and discrimination that is associated with mental illnesses. So if you look at the people who have family members or relatives with mental illnesses, they may not accept that they have a mental illness. They say, they have been bewitched, they didn't do things according to their culture, and they are put aside. So you find the reporting, number one, is the reason. Number two is the mental health specialists that are there to diagnose rightfully mental health illnesses.
The groups at risk of contemplating suicide include the elderly, people diagnosed with terminal illnesses such as cancer, and mostly men.
Is also ill. People don't understand that mental health is a continuum. We lose it, we gain it. So you're all branded as a mad person. You're not given an opportunity to make decisions. And I always give an example where this person has a lived experience and there's a chief baraza and they lift their hand and they want to give a contribution. What will people say? Huyo ni wazimu zake zimeongea. So you realize that people feel that mental illness is just psychosis. People don't look at depression. People don't think alcohol use is a mental illness. People don't look conditions like, many other of them like dementia. They are under what we call mental, neurological and substance use disorder.
The legal framework that criminalizes suicide has been cited as a challenge. To remedy the situation, psychologists say people should be wary of those exhibiting withdrawal from daily life routine and unnecessary anger outbursts, among others. Other preventive measures include investing in mental health as well as mentorship and guidance programs.
In Kenya, attempted suicide is a crime punishable by law, and now human rights activists are calling for the decriminalization of suicide so as to mitigate the stigma surrounding it and encourage those struggling with suicidal tendencies and other mental health illnesses to come forth without fear. Sayda Mohammed Jama, KBC, Nairobi.
Former National Assembly Speaker Justin Muturi has urged the 13th Parliament to consider enacting legislation that will compel cabinet secretaries to appear in the House to answer questions from members. Currently, responses to questions sought by MPs are read out in plenary by chairpersons of committees, thereby limiting MPs from seeking more clarification.
With the 13th Parliament set to officially start business in 2 weeks, Kenyans will be keen to see how MPs will oversight the new executive as well as conduct their representation duties. Former National Assembly Speaker Justin Muturi called on 13th Parliament to revive the idea of having cabinet secretaries appear in the plenary to answer questions by members.
It is important for cabinet secretaries to appear on the floor of the House in plenary to answer questions from members, because members are the people's representatives.
In 2014, Speaker Muturi guided the House to create a Committee on General Oversight that was composed of all MPs and headed by the Speaker, with the sole purpose of meeting cabinet secretaries. The idea, which was borrowed from France, however, could not last long due to lack of goodwill from the executive. Whenever an MP wants a pressing matter addressed, the query is taken up by the relevant departmental committee, which summons the cabinet secretary to provide answers, which the head of committee then presents to the House. As such, follow-up questions challenging the veracity of such answers are hardly responded to. This, according to Muturi, curtails MPs' fulfillment of their representation duties.
When a chairman of a committee is the one to respond to a question, now, and the chairman does not sit in the cabinet, he does not sit in the executive, so he is merely a passage. He's just reading something that he has no idea about where it was generated from. You just hope that what is written there is the truth. But it becomes a challenge, and we saw that challenge immediately when we came into office in the 11th Parliament, and we said, this is not workable, it's not good. Kenya is a developing country. We cannot just move away from the system we were used to, where even government policy would be best explained and interrogated by the people's representatives on the floor of the House.
Gishoki Washira, Legends Edition.
A 21-gun salute was fired at Cardiff Castle to mark the proclamation of King Charles III as king at St. James's Palace. The former Prince of Wales became king following the death of Queen Elizabeth II.
In a ceremony attended by a session council and the Lord Mayor of the City of London, among other senior officials, Charles III was proclaimed king at St. James' Palace.
Hip, hip!
The ceremony was marked with a mix of ritual, ornate language, constitutional practicality, with oaths as a symbol of transfer from one reign to the next.
I, Charles III, by the grace of God of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and of my other realms and territories, King, Defender of the Faith, do faithfully promise and swear that I shall inviolably maintain and preserve the settlement of the true Protestant religion.
King Charles III publicly shouldered his new responsibilities, promising to follow in the Queen's example, even as he paid tribute to his mother.
In taking up these responsibilities, I shall strive to follow the inspiring example I have been set in upholding constitutional government and to seek the peace, harmony and prosperity of the peoples of these islands. My mother's reign was unequaled in its duration, its dedication and its devotion. Even as we grieve, we give thanks for this most faithful life.
Hundreds of people were allowed through from the mall into the palace outdoor Friary Court to witness the proclamation up on the balcony. A wave of further proclamations will take place across United Kingdom until Sunday, when flags will return to half-mast. These, even as announcement followed to confirm that the day of the Queen's state funeral will be a public holiday. Meanwhile, senior members of parliament in the House of Commons, including Prime Minister Liz Truss, continue to swear allegiance to the new monarch. Opicho Chemtai, Legend Edition.
Police in Kikuyu constituency, Kiambu County, have launched investigations into the cause of a fire that left one person dead in Duma village. Kerwa Sub-Location Assistant Chief Bernard Waweru says they will collaborate with the police to get to the root of the matter.
These are the remains of an early morning fire of what was previously home to a young man and a resident of Kerwa Sub-Location in Kikuyu constituency. Confirming the incident, Kerwa Sub-Location Assistant Chief Bernard Waweru said they could not immediately ascertain the cause of the fire that was reported by neighbors early morning.
Kitu saa 3 baada ya kupata ripoti tumepata kuna mwili ilichomekea kwa nyumba, na baada ya uchunguzi tukajua ni mwenye nyumba alikuwa amechomekea hapo ndani, na kuanzia wakati huo uchunguzi unaendelea. Askari wanaendelea kufanya uchunguzi tuone chanzo cha moto ama kusudio lilikuwa lini.
Beatrice Wamboi, who is a neighbor to the deceased, say they did not hear the victim scream for help.
Nataka uchunguzi ifanywe tujue kini ya kijana mchanga kukufa kifo ya moto isiyojulikana, lakini tuko umbali sana juu kuna hii fence inazuia hatu kusikia moto ikilipuka, hatu kusikia kitu yoyote.
Terming the incident unfortunate, residents are now calling on the police to launch an investigation into the fire and find its cause. The body of the victim has been transferred to the Goto mortuary. For the Legends edition, I'm Zainab Said.
And now we'll take a short break. Stay tuned for the Living Legends segment. Tonight we hear from two members of the iconic group Them Mushrooms, band leader John Katana Harrison and his brother Billy Saro Harrison. Stay with us.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email news@kbc.co.ke or call 0723-892-654 or 0734-780-124.
Ametekwa nyara na sijui ni kwa nini.
Na nani na amefanya nini?
Kuwa na subira.
Amevuja pesa huyu.
Hata kama amevuja pesa, huu ni mwanayo.
Getu tafadhali wewe, Getu tafuta kazi lakini unamalipa kwenda. Mimi leo hatima yangu sijui ni nini. Sijui watanifukuza nyumbani. Sielewi Getu, sielewi.
Fanya bidii yako yote. Angalau basi umfureshe babako.
Huyu mwacheni hapa, kazi yake bado ipo. Sawa? Ndio.
Welcome back. A family from Ingarwa village of Baringo South is seeking justice after a neighbor allegedly defiled two of their daughters. It is alleged that the suspect, who is said to be Ingarwa Primary School Board Vice Chairman, has impregnated both of his victims. The family and residents now want the man arrested and brought to book.
The incident where two sisters were allegedly defiled and impregnated by an elder in Ilngarua village has caused uproar among the residents. They say that the 13-year-old and a class 7 pupil has since delivered the baby, and her younger sister, who is 11 years old, is 6 months pregnant.
Na wakati tulipeleka hospitali, tukapeleka kwanza, tukaambiwa na daktari akojoe, tukapeleka mkojo. Haya, tukarudi hapo, tukaingiza kwa nyumba ya scanning, akaskaniwa, akona mimba ya mwezi 5.
They marched to Ilngarua Primary School where the suspect, Jefferson Lesoite is the vice chair of the board and called on the administration and the board members to take action and help initiate the search and arrest of the suspect.
Kwa hivyo tunataka sasa hii mtu achukuliwe hatua kwa sababu ameshaenda mapichoni na ataenda mapichoni siku ile atarudi atakuja malisa na wengine. Sasa tunakuwa tunasalia hii mtu watoto wamalise mpaka atamaliza yake. Atarudia hata hiyo yake atamaliza.
They claim that the suspect took advantage of his employees' children when their parents were away. The 11-year-old revealed how she was defiled in a maize plantation by the suspect, an ordeal that the elders say has cost the family and the victim untold suffering.
Sasa huyu mtu anaheshimika kweli kwa hapa, lakini anaheshimika kumaliza watoto mpaka hata wapigane wetu wadogo wale wanasoma hawezi pata hata watoto tena ya kwao kwa sababu hii mzee ya watoto 6 ameharibu.
Wakati tulisikia jambo kama hilo tukiwa kama wasee wa nyumba 10 na ni kiongozi wetu, sisi tumetuaibisha kama nyumba 10 eneo hili kwa sababu tunafikiri ni kiongozi ambaye kumbe ni mnyama.
Friends to the family, together with Nyumba Kumi elders, having obtained hospital records and reported the matter to Marigat Police Station, want the intervention of Child Protection Unit in the country so that the 2 minors can get justice.
Tukaamuka, tukaenda kumustaki jamaa ili awachanane na watoto kwa sababu yeye yako na watoto wa shule, ako na watoto wake yenye anafurahia wanashika mfuko yao ya shule kwenda shule, lakini yeye amesidi kwa mharibifu ya watoto wengine ya watu wengine.
Tayari elifanya jambo ambayo sio mazuri, na tukiwa area hii tukiwa kama wasee wa nyumba 10 hatupembelezi watu kama haina yao tabia kama hiyo. Hatuwezi kupembeleza watu kama hiyo, anaribu watoto ya wenyewe.
Residents say Baringo South has seen an increase in defilement cases that have contributed to girls dropping out of school due to pregnancy, with most cases being solved out of court, contrary to the law. Beatrice Gatonyangetich, Legends Edition.
25-year-old untrained snake charmer Eston Kimani, who hit the headlines last year for his prowess in handling reptiles, is dead. Kimani was laid to rest in Murang'a County. Eston is said to have collapsed at a party before he was rushed to Murang'a Level 5 Hospital, where he was admitted but later succumbed.
25-year-old Eston Kimani came to the limelight for his prowess in handling what is probably one of the most feared creatures by mankind, snakes. His brother Ibrahim Bote said that Kimani was always out to demystify the notion in most African folklore that snakes were associated with evil mystical powers of wizards and witches. Kimani is, however, no more. He is said to have collapsed and died at a party. An autopsy report, however, showed that he had died from meningitis and there was no foul play as it had been earlier speculated. The untrained snake handler was known for his love for reptiles and commitment to their preservation.
Alikuwa ni kijana chupavu ambaye alikuwa na kipawa ya kipekee. Alikuwa anaweza kushika nyoka zikiwa hai, jambo ambalo si watu wengi wanaweza. Ameshika nyoka mingi sana pande ya Murang'a. Murang'a iko nyoka mingi, na anaposhika tunaweza kuzisafirisha mpaka kwa parks zetu, ina Oldonyo Sabuk, ina Badia National Park, na amewacha pengo kubwa sana.
He had defied the odds of viewing snakes as evil creatures and has asked Kenya W Service to build a snake sanctuary for people to visit the captured snakes in the area.
Tangu akiwa mtoto mdogo alikuwa kijana mwenye akona bidii sana. Hivyo watu wengi wameongea mambo yake na wakasema taguajiriwe na KWS. Amekuwa mtu akona bidii na akiitwa hapa kuna kitu fulani alikuwa anakimbia haraka sana. Lakini kwa yote tunaamini Mungu na tunasema Mungu amweke mahali pema kwa wake biguni.
Eston Kimani has been laid to rest at his family's Nyakiga farm and has left behind a wife and a child. Elvis Otieno, Legends Edition.
A family from Nakuru County is appealing for financial assistance to help their teenage daughter suffering from scoliosis undergo corrective surgery in India. The family has already suffered the loss of one sibling to the rare condition. The family needs 8 million shillings for the surgery.
For the family of Marion Nashiku Mwangi, an employee of the Nakuru County Government, theirs has been a life of pain, fear, prayers, and unending visits to hospitals. 11 years ago, Nashiku, who is based at the county offices in Naivasha, lost her second-born daughter, St. Clair Wangoi, to a rare disease called scoliosis, a condition where the spine twists and curves to the side. And as fate will have it, her third-born daughter, St. Clair Waithera, has been diagnosed with the same rare deformity and requires an urgent operation to correct it.
This spine condition starts showing at the age of 4 years. That is when my late daughter, St. Clair Wangoi, started showing. And at the same year, age 4, St. Clara Waithera also started showing the same.
Nashiku says the condition, which can only be corrected through surgery, has stretched the family both financially and emotionally, and it has forced the 16-year-old who hopes to become a medic to drop out of school.
This condition it's not quite known. It's idiopathic, and it's affected my studies. And I went to Form 1 at Komatai Girls School. I only did 1 month, but it affected me. I can't sit for a long time.
Their older brother, John Kimani, painfully recounts the passing on of their older sister as they sought for her treatment in various hospitals. He fears that his younger sister will suffer the same fate if they don't get help soon.
Living with her, watching her struggle, really takes a toll on a person, and I would like to see her maybe go through the surgery and come out successful.
According to document from Dr. Fazila Sil from the Kenyatta National Hospital, the teenager has severe congenital hyperscoliosis that requires corrective surgery that cannot be done in Kenya.
Found a doctor in New Delhi who has been doing such corrective surgeries on other patients, and he said he would be able to handle my daughter and at a cost of 8 million.
The family is now appealing to well-wishers to help them meet the 8 million shillings bill required for the surgery.
With God, everything is possible, and that I will be treated and go back to school and become a cardiologist.
Your prayers and your financial support will come along and will be greatly appreciated. Raising the 8 million is an uphill task. So I'm making humble request to all well-wishers to come forth and help me give my daughter a chance to live a normal life and to also achieve her goals in life.
You can send in your donation via the family's M-Pesa pay bill number 516600 or Diamond Trust Bank account 7768968001. For Legends Edition, I'm Samuel Karaoke.
Good boys gone bad. Eric Omondi has evolved from being a comedian to now being the king of clout chasing.
How does a gospel artist make money? Jaguar wept again.
Anaweza kuwa celeb, anaweza kuwa na followers, but it's a time for artists to make bank. Right?
How is your relationship with Zari, considering that she dates young?
These are accessories.
They do not make... Slap the guy.
Yo, what's up? My name is Ted Josiah.
Mashallah.
I'm watching Pop Culture with Adhiambo with a Y.
Good evening once again. It's the Legends Edition Sports segment. I'm Topi Liambila with the sports tonight. National Rugby Sevens team Shujaa lost 36-0 to England in the semi-finals of Challenge at the ongoing Sevens Rugby World Cup in Cape Town, South Africa. Shujaa did not manage any tries and conversions, whereas England had 5 tries and 3 conversions in the match en route to the semi-finals. Shujaa humbled Scotland 24-5 in the last 8. Herman Humwa, Billy Odhiambo, Vincent Onyala and Captain Nelson Oyo scored tries for Kenya, while Colleen Barreto scored Scotland's consolation try.
Star of the show when they won their series victory, and here he goes on that outside arc. It's so hard to stop. His leg speed is ferocious.
Big hit coming, floated over the top to Humwa, scored a great try in the first half. From when Humwa wrestles Barreto and still going, the power and the strength of these Kenyan forwards. Amondi shifts it away. Billiard.
Now, East Africa volleyball defending champions Kwantanse Girls High School advanced to the semi-finals of the ongoing Term 2 ball games after thrashing Vyumbani High School by 3 straight sets at the Nakuru High School grounds. The Term 2 ball games are expected to end on Monday, with the winners clinching a spot to represent Kenya at the East Africa Games, set to be held in Arusha, Tanzania next week. Here is a recap.
Kwantanse High School dominated the match from the start, while Vyumbani seemed to falter and lost the first set 25-10. In the second set, Kwantanse seemed to be more focused and won the second set 25-6. In the third set, Vyumbani seemed to take charge of the first minutes, but Kwantanse overcame them and won the set 25-8. In another match, Mwitoti beat Soweto 3-1, while Nyakongo was beaten 3-0 by Kesogon.
We have a mini Olympic in the sense that we have all the games except athletics here, and they are all running currently. We have the games in this venue, Nakuru Girls, and also we have in Menengai, Kenyatta, and we have other swimming and lacquet games elsewhere. So this is a mini Olympic where we have all the games taking place for the first time in history of Kenya Secondary School Sports Association.
In rugby, Alliance High School suffered a blow and was eliminated from the tournament after losing 12-7 to Kabianka. Menengai also lost 22-7 to Ofafa, and 2 was eliminated from the tournament in the playoffs.
The national government should come in and inject in a lot of resources because, you know, these days sport is professional, and we want our boys to excel. Yeah, we want them to sail through. We want them to play with teams like Manu and World Cup volleyball, like other teams all over the world.
In boys handball competitions, Boni boys beat Nduchicha 32-15, Manyata lost 33-16 to Kimito, while Mangu High School beat Fura High School 35-3.
Si rahisi, lakini tulikuwa tumepromise Western Regional hasa na Bungoma County kwamba tunakuja kucompete na si tumekuja kuentertain mtu na tunashinda. Kesho semis tunashinda, tutafika final na ye master tutabeba.
After a successful day 2 of the National High School Games, the qualified teams now proceed to the semi-finals tomorrow, all eyeing a spot to represent Kenya in the East African Games scheduled for Arusha next week. For Legends Edition Sports, from Nakuru County, I'm Daniel Mwendwa.
Kwantanse Girls has been quite around for featuring in the games for quite a bit, and they are still around. I wish them the best of luck. Now, Moi Air Base humbled Mustang 83-59 in a closely contested Division 1 basketball league match played at the Nyayo National Stadium Indoor Gymnasium. Meanwhile, 5 matches will be on card on Sunday at the same venue. This is a recap.
And Moi Airbase came into the match focused to maximum points to enhance their chances of ranking among the top teams in the league. Moi Airbase took the charge of the match from the onset, forcing Mustang to make several unforced errors. Moi Airbase won the first quarter 28-11 before losing the second quarter 22-15. The match went into the breather, Moi Airbase leading 50-26. After resumption, Moi Airbase bagged the second and third quarter 23-12 and 17-14 to register a victory. Meanwhile, 5 matches will be on card on Sunday at the same venue. World Hope will face Nairobi Institute of Business Studies. USIU will face Strathmore University in the Men's Division 1. Storms will be up against Strathmore University, while Africa Nazarene University will face Equity in the Men's Premier League.
Now, from handball, Kenyan reigning champions Nairobi Water women's handball team beat their perennial nemesis Ulinzi Sharks by 31-27 in a closely contested league match played at the Nyayo National Stadium today. Brenda Rivisa was the top scorer for Nairobi Water with 7 goals, while Karen Lutengoya scored 8 goals for Ulinzi Sharks.
Nairobi Water went ahead in the first minute, but Sharks were quick to equalize minutes later. Both teams were evenly balanced, with the quarter ending 5-5. In the second quarter, Ulinzi were too strong for Nairobi Water and led 18-17 at the end of the first half. In the second half, Nairobi Water redeemed themselves and narrowly won the match 31-27. Nairobi Water coach Jack Herbert praised his side, saying they are the team to beat this season. Herbert insisted the side is still enjoying an unbeaten record that has lasted since 2013.
Of course, we're looking to retain the championship. We are the team to beat, and still in the second leg we have to play again, and I'm still expecting a lot of resistance from Nairobi Heroes and Ulinzi Sharks.
Tumejaribu, lakini ndio kuna vitu makosa 2-3 zile tulikuwa tumejua wametupatia exposure kidogo wanayo. Now tutaenda work out because kuna game ya kwanza na kuna game ya pili. So game ya pili ndio tutajua. Sasa tumewaona, next tutakuja tujue vile tutatackle makosa zetu.
In other matches, Kenyatta University women's team beat New Hope 42-7, while Jomo Kenyatta University were awarded a walkover after Nairobi City Council failed to show up. In the men's category, Young City lost 16-33 to Jomo Kenyatta University.
On athletics, defending champion Helen Obiri and Olympic marathon champion Perez Chepchirchir will be the women's lineup for the Great North Run slated for Sunday in the streets of Newcastle. A total of 60,000 people have entered the half marathon from Newcastle to South Shields.
Last of the elites to respond.
Helen Obiri won last year's edition of the Great North Run in 1 hour 7 minutes and 42 seconds. She is a 2-time world 5,000 meters champion and a 2-time Olympic 5,000 meters silver medalist. Obiri has a personal best time of 1 hour 4 minutes and 22 seconds, which she ran at the Ras Al Khaimah half marathon early this year. Chepchirchir, who will be making her debut, has a personal best time of 1 hour 5 minutes and 06 seconds, which she clocked at the 2017 Ras Al Khaimah half marathon. She placed first during the World Athletics half marathon championships in 2016 and 2020. Chepchirchir is also a former world half marathon record holder. The Kenyan duo will be competing against the Ethiopian duo of Iwot Gebre Kidan and former Olympic 10,000 meters champion Almaz Ayana.
Chepchirchir punches the air as she crosses the line. 65.15 unofficially. Kajeta may be taking second place there ahead of you.
Gebre Kidan and Ayana have personal best times of 1 hour 6 minutes and 47 seconds and 1 hour 7 minutes and 12 seconds respectively. Gebre Kidan is the winner of the 2016 Copenhagen half marathon, while Ayana won the 2017 edition of the New Delhi half marathon. Charlotte Pardue and Jess Persiki, both from Great Britain, will also be in the race. Pardue placed third during last year's edition of the Great North Run. In the men's lineup, reigning champion Mark Scott faces a massive challenge from Ethiopia's Solomon Barega and Jacob Kiplimo, who will lead a star-studded lineup. A total of 60,000 people have entered the half marathon from Newcastle to South Shields. The run raises millions of pounds for charity and has been held every year since 1981, apart from 2020 when it was cancelled due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Wishing our girls all the best in tomorrow's run. Now, Ferrari's Charles Leclerc took pole position at the Italian Grand Prix ahead of Red Bull's Max Verstappen, and Leclerc thrashed champion. And to wrap up then from tennis, Spanish teenager Carlos Alcaraz reached his first Grand Slam final with a 5-set win over American hope Frances Tiafoe in the US Open semi-finals. Meanwhile, Britain's Joe Salisbury and America's Rajiv Ram edged closer to becoming the first pair this century to retain the US Open men's doubles title.
Carlos Alcaraz reached his first Grand Slam final with a 5-set win over American hope Frances Tiafoe. The 19-year-old Alcaraz will play Norway Kasper Ruud, who continued his own bid to land the first major by beating Russia Karen Khachanov earlier on Friday. That seed Alcaraz won 6-7, 6-3, 6-1, 6-7, 6-3, while 5th seed Ruud and a 7-6, 6-2, 5-7, 6-2 victory. Meanwhile, Britain's Joe Salisbury and America's Rajiv Ram became the first pair this century to retain the US men's doubles title. They won 7-6, 7-5 against Salisbury's compatriot Niall Scapsi and Dutchman Wesley Koolhof. Australian duo Mark Woodford and Todd Woodbridge were the first pair to win successive New York title in 1995 and 1996. The victory ensured Salisbury remains the #1 men's double player in the world, and ranking Scapsi would have claimed had he and Koolhof won. In another match, Britain Alfie Howett reached his 6th successive US men's wheelchair singles final with a victory over Francis Nicolas Pfeiffer. Second seed and 2-time champion Howett, who won the title in New York in 2018 and 2019, beat Pfeiffer 6-3, 6-1. He also broke a 6th straight double final after he got on raid beat Alexander Caltodo and Tekiko Oda. Howett faced top seed Shingo Kunieda in the single final after the Japanese beat compatriot Takuya Miki 6-1, 6-2. King Orimwangi for Sports News.
To get Change Your Thinking Skizatune, dial star 811 star 961 hash.
When you change the quality of your thinking, you change the quality of your life. Sometimes instantly, just as positive words can make someone calm, smile or laugh, your thoughts will react to the world in real time. So, change the quality of your thinking.
Dial star 811 star 961 hash. Star 811 star 961 hash.
Differently.
I didn't know when diabetes started creeping in on me until I lost my sight. That's when I was diagnosed with diabetes, and it was established that mine was disability as a result of diabetes, not glaucoma.
I worked diligently, hoping that my bosses, that is Jane Mombi and Ongarimi, would consider me working here, because this, even getting here, is, I feel it as an achievement.
We're differently abled, differently.
Welcome Welcome to The Living Legends. I am Fayyaz Qureishi. In tonight's episode of The Living Legends, we speak to not one, but two people. Sounds odd, right? But here is why. 50 years ago, they got together and started a journey in music. Throughout their career, they have defined what is, I will call, Swahili for the foreigner. Boldly spoke to the people about HIV/AIDS via music and do a lot of charity work through music. On The Living Legends tonight, we hear from two members of the iconic group Them Mushrooms, band leader John Katana Harrison and his brother Billy Saro Harrison. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
It's absolutely great, specifically for me, because I go back a long way with Them Mushrooms. You are absolute legends, and it's a real pleasure for me to interview you here celebrating 50 years. Welcome, John. Welcome, Billy.
Thank you. Asante sana.
Let's start off with, tell us about your early life, both of you, Billy and John. And feel free to throw brotherly jibes at each other.
The journey started way before 1972, you know. And our eldest bro, Teddy Kalanda Harrison, who founded the band. Now he's the eldest in the family. Started us off, and we've never looked back. Way back in, say, 1969, 70, that's when we started indulging in music. But as freelancers and, you know, amateurs. The Mushrooms came into being in 1972. That's why we're celebrating 50 years. It's been a long journey.
It's been a very, very long.
Yeah.
But how did you become musically oriented as a family? What was the inspiration within the family? Was Teddy Kalanda the inspiration, or was music just embedded in all of you?
Music was in the family because our mom used to be a choir mistress.
Oh, no wonder.
Yeah. And then
it's in the genes.
Yeah. Our dad, when he was in Nairobi, part-time, while he was working with the East African Post and Telecommunication, in the evenings, he would play a little bit of guitar. That was kept away from us, but the person who was behind us was our mom. Yeah, when Teddy started, during the holidays, he would just try to play the guitar, bring friends, and then mom said, look here, you have your siblings. Why don't you try and teach them and form something? So it started off like that.
You started Mushrooms in 1972, right? That's when it all started.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about that journey from 1972 onwards.
Well, we were in primary school by then, and very, very young. We got together as brothers, the four of us initially, and then we had a couple of friends, about 3 friends. And that's when the lineup was complete, and that's when the band started in Mombasa, to be specific, at Tudor Estate. And then along the way, you know, we had no instruments. We had nowhere to perform, so we used to wait for the big bands to come to town or to our village. When they're performing, when they're on breaks, we would go and ask that we, given that 1 hour or so where they're on break, and we would entertain. And this kept on going till the time we said, no. Now we need to be a proper band. And that's when now we started looking for equipment, borrowing a guitar from this side, borrowing a drum set from there, hiring, and it all came together.
So you're 5 brothers, right?
We were initially 5 brothers, but 2 have passed on.
2 have passed on.
Yeah.
So when you started the band, you said initially it was 4 of you. Then all of you got together, all 5 brothers?
The last one was still too young at that time.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's why you said initially 4.
Yeah.
So of course it's you two, John and Billy, Teddy Kalanda, the eldest, the late George Zero, and the late Dennis.
Yeah, that was the last born. who came in very, very late.
Jambo Bwana. Hakuna Matata.
We were expecting that.
Kenya Hakuna Matata was released in 1980 and went on to become a massive global hit. And what's the story of this song? And which is now the reference point for Swahili by the tourism industry.
Yeah.
Or rather, did you expect it to become such a big hit?
Teddy composed the song, and then the instrumentation arrangement was a joint effort. That's the first song we ever recorded, ever entered a studio to record, and we never thought at all that it was going to be a massive hit. It just went around the world like bushfire.
Yes.
And initially, when we did the song, when we went back we recorded that song in Nairobi, but when we went back to Mombasa, almost every other band was laughing at us. What kind of song have they recorded? But within no time, all the hotel managers were asking resident bands in beach hotels to play the song. He's the storyteller of the band. He can tell you much more.
It was a simple lyrics, catchy tune, infectious rhythm, I would call it.
Yeah.
It was just coined at the bar. We had just finished performing, and Teddy was having his beer. And then all the Muzungus who were coming there, they'll just say, "Hey, Jambo!" And the barman say, "Hey, Jambo, Jambo! Hey, mzuri sana!" So they're just teaching them those words. And then he struck him and said, "Hey." So that was a weekend. It was on Saturday. Monday comes, he said, "Look, I have a song."
Yeah.
Okay, said, okay. We said, okay, what song? Here, just listen to this song. So he sang it, and we were rehearsing. It was our day for rehearsal. So I played my part of bass, he played his part of keyboard, and then the guitarist came in, and we said, "Hey, why don't we go and record it?" But how will we go to Nairobi?
Yeah.
So we said, okay, when we go to every establishment we are playing in, we will be playing the song. So the good thing is that each evening when we were playing the song, you find them, the tourists were dancing to it, and they were just saying, "Oh, Jambo, Jambo." So there was a request all the time, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So one day we were performing at Shelly Beach, and we got a request 20 times. So there was one of the senior managers of Polygram, Nairobi, was on holiday, and he listened to the song and the requests which were coming in, and then when we took a break, he came and said, "Hello, I'm so and so. This is my card. I would like you to come to Nairobi and record."
So that's how it happened.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. That's an amazing story.
Yeah. So without delay, on Monday we called Nairobi Polygram and say,
"We're on our way."
Yeah, we're on our way.
One-way ticket.
Yeah. So we on Wednesday, when we finished performing, we drove to Nairobi. So on Thursday, we were in the studio. We did four songs, which were 2 singles. And then when we finished, we drove back to Mombasa, because the following day we were supposed to be performing.
Wow. That is an amazing story. Now, I'm not going to let you get away with this. You have to do an a cappella for us.
Wacha tuweke namba ya M-Pesa kwanza, mtume pesa alafu tuimbe.
You must do it live for our viewers.
Here we go. Jambo, Jambo bwana, habari gani? Mzuri sana. Wageni mwakaribishwa, Kenya yetu hakuna matata, Fayyaz ni mzuri, hakuna matata. KBC KBC nzuri, hakuna matata.
Fayyaz. Jambo bwana, habari gani? Mzuri sana, wageni wakaribishwa. Kenya yetu hakuna matata. The Mushrooms, hakuna matata. KBC, hakuna matata.
Hakuna matata, KBC.
Wow, that was brilliant. You still sound so good and still so fresh. Probably the most important aspect, royalties.
Yeah, initially when we started out, we knew nothing about royalties. We knew nothing about copyright. We recorded the song in 1980, and it was up to 1985 when we started, getting to learn about royalties, copyright, related rights. And since then, we had to fight because the song has been done by so many other artists.
Yes.
And we were just happy to hear them do it. But later on, when we came to learn about royalties, we started chasing them. We became members of international bodies, the copyright management organizations. And we want to say, asante sana Mwenyezi Mungu. We get a few coins into our pockets. The good thing is that this song is like our passport to the world. Wherever we go, we were in London just 2 weeks ago, and we had successful shows because people know about our music and because of social media. So, two things, good and bad. Yeah.
We need stronger laws for anti-piracy. We definitely need stronger laws. We keep fighting that every year, but it's improved, but it could be better. Dogo Dogo, a song in praise of a lady, was released in 1985. Then, of course, there was... but before we go to that, Billy, do a line for us. Dogo Dogo. I love that track.
I'll give you the chorus.
I can still rock to it even now. I love...
Dogo Dogo. Wewe si kidogo. Dogo Dogo. Uzuri wako si kidogo. Dogo Dogo. Aye. Wewe si kidogo.
Si kidogo.
Dogo Dogo.
Dogo Dogo.
Uzuri wako si kidogo.
Wow. Then there was Nyambura.
No,
Nyambura, I love you.
Before we go to Nyambura, this song actually was for a movie. We did it for a movie, for a production house which was called Malaika Films.
Right.
Yeah, they came over, they came to Mombasa, they had us playing this song. So they said, no, we want to use this song in our movie, which was shot here.
Which one? Dogo Dogo?
Yeah.
Was played in a film?
Yeah.
The movie was called Mlevi.
Mlevi. It was called Mlevi, yeah.
Mlevi.
Then Nyambura, I love you. John?
Okay,
drop a line for us on that one. You guys still sound so good.
I love you like fish and chips. Nyambura nakupenda kama nyama choma. Nyambura, I love you like fish and chips. Nyambura nakupenda
kama nyama choma.
Wow, awesome. This is a great era for you at that point in time. The hits were rolling. What was your schedule like at this point in time?
Wow, we had performances at least 4 times a week.
Wow.
Because by then we had shifted base from Mombasa to Nairobi, and we were a resident band for a while at the Carnival.
For a long time?
Yeah, for almost 2.5 years. So we used to perform at the Carnival every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday evenings, and then in between We were doing corporate functions, private
I used to love
functions.
those sessions at Carnival.
And of course, we jammed a lot with you.
We jammed.
This guy is a very good singer, so we have to do something with you.
100%. We've been thinking about it.
Yeah.
We've been discussing since last year.
Exactly.
But we've definitely got to do something together.
Yeah.
And I remember I used to jam with you guys at Carnival.
Yeah.
A bit of rock and roll with you guys.
Yeah.
Because you guys are versatile. You can play anything and adapt to anything.
Yeah.
Now, 1980 saw the emergence of a new medical condition and took the lives of many at that point in time, HIV/AIDS. And you did a song and gave it to the Ministry of Health, and which helped in the campaigns in 88?
Yeah.
How did you go about this? You know, how was the deal struck with the Ministry of Health?
Actually, there was no deal. What we've been doing all along, besides performances, we do a lot of charity work. And if I may take you back, we've had shows to raise funds for an orphanage. We've had shows, and this was in line with the other side of the band, where every 2 years we come up with a song or organize an event whose proceeds will be donated to. Yeah. So this time, at the onset of the HIV pandemic, if I may call it so, that's when we decided, hey, we have to do a song or songs to sensitize and create awareness about this new disease. That's how the Beware of AIDS song came about.
Right.
Yeah.
Jikinge na ukimwi.
Yeah.
The flip side.
Yes.
It was a single, so one side was in English, the flip side was in Kiswahili. Yeah, Jikinge na ukimwi.
Yeah. Now, charity is something that you've done right through, you know, in terms through your music.
Yeah.
Campaigns against fistula, and a song too was written for that purpose.
Yeah.
Schools for the disabled, wildlife conservation, educating children, all through music.
Okay, our latest project is a bit odd. We want to collect storybooks and donate them to schools in the villages. You know, when we're in Nairobi, we assume that everybody can go online all over Kenya.
Right.
But you go to some rural schools, they don't have storybooks. Some schools don't even have libraries. So our project this year, we're collecting storybooks to give out to schools in where we come from, Kaloleni and other places, because we've noticed that every time we go, like we've had donated wheelchairs and all to some schools in Kilifi County, and you just see what they have is just textbooks and nothing else. So they're not exposed to the outside world. So through reading, they can get to know what is happening.
It's a very good idea.
Yeah.
And I can assure you it will be highly appreciated. Yeah. Last week we hosted Tabu Osusa, and he spoke about having a musical identity. And that's great about you. And have you managed to maintain this identity?
Yeah, we have.
Because you've fused rumba, reggae, you know, a combination of fusions, keeping it African at the same time.
Yeah, it's wide because we have rumba, we have reggae, we have benga, and then we have chakacha, which is our main.
I get a feel of that. In all your tracks.
Yeah.
Do you get tempted to change?
We have been changing. We have been changing and reinventing our music almost after every 5 years.
Yes.
But we try to keep that identity, the mushroom identity, so that whatever we're doing, you will definitely hear. And if you're new to, if the song is new to you, you will just say, hey, this could be the mushrooms, because we keep that identity running through all our songs, especially the chakacha songs. Whatever we fuse it with, we still keep that mushroom identity line across all our songs. And it's easy to tell. Anybody listening to our music, they will know that, hey, you hear this, you hear this.
They're mushrooms.
Yeah.
You also worked with Tabu on his Spotlight project. How did this go? And any great memories about that project?
Very many great memories. Spotlight on Kenyan Music is a project that was run by Alliance Française, and sponsored by the French Embassy and the French government too. of course through the embassy, and Total Kenya. So this is a project where initially I was the chair before Tabu came in and it took over and became the chair. It's a project where we were sourcing for young Kenyan musicians and nurturing them, and then they were recorded doing their own compositions.
Yeah.
So many great artists have come out of this. I can mention for one, Sauti Sol came out of this project.
Out of this project,
yeah.
yes.
We have, wow, the names I can't remember, but about 4 or 5 prominent artists today in the country came out of this project. The rules were you have to do your own composition, and then you have to let it be arranged, produced, so that we get that Kenyan identity in your music.
That was a fabulous project.
Yeah.
A little bit about your Mushroom Sound Lab. What are the success stories and what came out from this recording studio?
Wow, a lot.
A lot, eh?
A lot. One, we broke the careers of so many, gave many artists a break through recordings in this studio, both gospel and secular.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Some of the big names today in the country came through that studio. And of course, we broadened our net and we did collaborations before they called them collabos. We did collaborations with artists from Uganda, Tanzania, Ethiopia. Some artists went back home and became very big artists, like Shimeli Saraso from Ethiopia. We brought him to Kenya, did a collaboration with him, and asked him to sing Jambo Bwana in Amharic. And when he went and released the song back home, he became massive. From an unknown artist, he became massive.
Oh, that must have been magic.
Yeah, we've recorded and produced artists like Angela Chibalonza, the late Queen Jane, and so many others. I can go on and on and on. And we used to experiment. That's why we called it the Mushroom Sound Lab. We used to experiment a lot. Take, for example, music from central Kenya, which is Benga, and fuse it with a feel from the coast. And that came up with a new sound. So there's a lot to talk about the studio.
Now, tell us your plans. 50 years is big. I'm sure you've got a lot of plans this year. How are we going to celebrate 50 years of Them Mushrooms? Tell us all.
Okay, in a nutshell, we're celebrating our 50th anniversary on the 12th of December right here in Nairobi. But we have build-up activities. As from the end of this month, we'll have shows in some of the counties that we think our music did very well. That is Mombasa, Nairobi, Kisumu, Machakos, Eldoret, and what have you. We've also revamped our socials. Our website is up, www.themushrooms.com. Anybody can visit the website to get a lot of information.
Right.
We have ventured into social media areas that probably people always associate with younger audiences. TikTok, all right. Twitter is there, and all the name it, WhatsApp, everything. But then the big thing is that we're calling out to young artists to reach out to us, because we want to do some collaborations with them, rework some of our old music, the Ndogondogos, the Jambo Bwana, and all that. We want to do them again. And then we have 2 new songs.
Yeah, let's have new versions.
Yeah, new versions.
Great classic tracks.
Yes, exactly. So we're calling out on...
with a bit of an oomph.
Yes. Yeah.
A slightly different flavor.
Kabisa. So we want to do that. On the sidelines, we have a book on the band ready, waiting to be published.
Oh.
Yeah, we're shooting a documentary of the band for posterity. We're here today. Our bros are gone. Tomorrow we'll be gone, but we want the mushrooms to live on.
Okay, Billy, final word from you.
I would like to thank KBC throughout, because we started with it at the time it was called Voice of Kenya.
Yes.
And it has really promoted us. If it wasn't for KBC, we wouldn't have been here where we are.
I think a round of applause for KBC, for sure.
I want to echo that, in that, you won't believe it, and this is not a joke. this is the first interview we are giving in regards to the 50th anniversary, and we're starting off right here at KBC. That's how close to our hearts KBC is and has been, and we salute KBC. And then to you, our fans out there, asanteni sana. You know, you're the guys who've made them mushrooms. We've made the music, you consume the music. If you didn't do that, or if you hadn't done that, we would not be here talking to Fayyaz today. We would have been just like any other band. You made them mushrooms. We salute you. And please, 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 keep watching our social media. Be there on the 12th. When the book is out, get it. When the documentary is out,
watch it.
Watch it.
And we're extremely honored that you gave us the first opportunity to KBC to interview you, two legends, celebrating your 50th anniversary in music.
Asante sana.
Asante sana.
Jumbo Bwana. That should be the tagline. You definitely do not want to miss the gala night when Them Mushrooms celebrate 50 years as a band. From Jumbo Bwana to Ukimwi ni Hatari to celebrating the Harambee Stars. They are a part of our national heritage in terms of song and dance. And do not forget that they have done a lot to help fistula patients get treatment through their music. It has been an extreme pleasure hosting the Harrison brothers, John Katana and Billy Saro on The Living Legends. I am Fayyaz Qureishi. Thank you for watching. Wow. You know, it was such a great interview. I really, really enjoyed it because I have a rapport with them. I've known them for years. And it was great interviewing two legends, John Katana Harrison and Billy Saro Harrison.
Now, Them Mushrooms have been, of course, like basically like a household name for very many years, like what they say. But for Mombasa, it's not just only them that have come out of Mombasa. You know, we've had great bands like the Safari Sounds. We have had people like the, Earthquake, also, which also actually originated from Mombasa. And we have got to some very great singers also who have also originated from Mombasa. Can't forget names like Slim Ali. I know the older generation, the legends like us, would remember people like Slim Ali, Faisal, Sal Davis. Yeah, great guys.
Mombasa, the heart of talent when it comes to music. But you know, the amazing thing about Them Mushrooms, they've given us fabulous music for 5 decades. They're celebrating their 50th anniversary. And I think all roads should be leading to their concert on the 12th of December, the book that's coming out and the documentary. They're fabulous guys, and they've enriched Kenya as a nation in terms of music by globally putting Jumbo Kenya on the world map.
And even the Hakuna Matata phrase, you remember it was also picked up actually in The Lion King, for those of you who watch a lot of cartoons.
Have sung that song. Thank goodness they're getting the royalties. It's so amazing that, you know, every time I go overseas and when they find out I'm from Kenya, they'll come and say Jumbo Bwana, Hakuna Matata.
Well, that's great. We've all experienced that, and of course we love that. Now, okay, from now it's been a great evening where we've had a lot of shows apart from the sports. Also, we had the music. Now, for me, of course, on behalf of the likes of King, Karanja, and Freddie, who are on the sports desk this evening, is a big thank you. And remember that you stay with KBC Channel 1, your sports partner, and the greatest sports news come from KBC Channel 1. So we hope that you keep watching through the week, and we'll see you again next weekend. I'm Topi Liambila signing off for the Legends edition.
Thank you. And that's all from our newsroom. Join us next week on KBC Channel 1 for the Legends edition at 9 p.m. Thank you very much. I'm Fayyaz Qureishi.
There's a new game in town. It's a game like no other. It's Cup